Good, man. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. How are things in South Carolina?
Um, South Carolina, man. It's busy here.
That's a good
Yes,
thing.
sir. Actually, yeah, quick question for you. Did you talk to Tiago?
Tiago. No, I think we have missed each other. No, we try to reach out. He messaged me on Messenger. Yes.
Okay. He's gonna
Okay.
reach back out. He has something in Atlanta that he needs some eyes on. So
Okay.
he'll reach back out to you.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. We went back and forth for a little bit, but we haven't connected yet.
Okay.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, good morning. Let's see here. Who's new, guys? Who wants to come in and just introduce yourself, being new to the group here? Okay. Guys, it is February 14th. Actually, it's Valentine's Day. Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Guys, how is so it's this, what do you call it? Half of the second month. I just want to hear from everybody. How do you guys feel? What do you guys think? What are you guys seeing in terms of the 2025 year? I know it's been like kind of like mixed, right? Like mixed everything right now. But it's the weather's gonna warm up soon. It's funny, we got that little burst of warmth and everybody got excited. And then it's cold again. It's like I think I saw on the temperature like 30, 40 degrees, right? This coming a week, a lot of rain. I was like, oh my God,
Yes.
that
It's,
feels
it's,
terrible.
it's, it's back to winter.
Yes. The what do you call it? The possum guy, not the possum. What is they call it? What is those the other guy that pops up on the ground? The groundhog.
Ah,
So
yeah.
the groundhog popped up and he saw his shit. Oh my gosh, but then it was like 70
Oh, Calvin said it's looking promising. Come on, Calvin. Come up.
degrees.
Let's hear from you.
Calvin, you still sleeping? He's on his bed texting. That's what he's doing. Yeah.
Oh no. No, I'm actually at work right now, so I gotta kind of isolate myself.
I'm gonna want to hear from you. How you doing, Calvin?
I'm doing great, doing great. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. So you think it's gonna be promising? Tell us.
I think so because my partner and I, we got some systems set up, to get more leads and everything. So I think this year is gonna be a good turnout, I believe.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
But you know what I've noticed,
Mhm.
Calvin, that you hit the pavement. Like you've been at it. You've been consistent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Kudos
I
to
try. Definitely try. Trying to balance that and the W-2 at the same time. So I'm doing my best.
Hey, that's the way to do it. That's the only way to do it. Got to hustle. So that's awesome.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Let's see here. Anybody else? It is all right. So we're at 9:10. You want to get started, Chris?
Yes. I don't know who's here that went to our meetup this past Tuesday. The rainy day, cold, and was awesome. The we talk about co-living. That's something that a lot of people have been asking. And I'm very interested to learn a lot more about it. So Shelly, she's an agent here. She's a realtor. I mean, she got a lot of experience. So like, okay, let's bring her on. She's from Atlanta and have her to see how she's being able to help people and tell her story a little bit.
And before we bring her on too, Chris, what I wanted to ask you is that I think that right now, going back to kind of where the market is, right? Kind of how the market's doing, things are changing. Things are kind of like, okay, we're stagnant a little bit. It's a little bit slower start, right? There are deals. They're like we see the deals out there, but how do we scale? Like how like right now, what's working? Whether it's people do fix and flips, whether people do wholesaling, wrapping. There's so many angles and so many things that we do. But in our case, in your case specifically, I've noticed that once you hone on into co-living, like within 3 months you went from 0 to 4, right? Like
Yeah,
3 months, and that was very very impressive. Like okay, wow, that's amazing, and the amount of knowledge that you've collected and you learned from that. And then I know when Shelly comes on too, it's just that. So for you guys out there, guys, what do you guys what is stopping you, or what is the question? I know you asked better than I did, Chris. Like what is, I want to hear from the audience. What is stopping you, or what is the challenge that you guys are having into moving to the next level or into scale?
Because yes, anybody wants to talk? Like, is anybody interested in co-living here in our group today? Or
Yes, I'm interested in co-living. It's Virgil. I'm
Hey,
hi,
very
Virgil.
interested. Hey, I'm very interested in co-living.
oh,
My
by the
wife.
way,
What was that?
I said I owe you a call.
Yeah. We're gonna talk to him. I'm interested in co-living. I know my wife and I we're looking to get two bond holes at minimum this year, and we were looking at multifamilies. But for myself, the co-living would actually be a lot more profitable with a lot less overhead than multifamily. So yeah, we were very interested. And I know Pat, when we talked, that's one of the things that my wife and I want to talk to you about as well.
Amazing.
So
Yes.
for
No,
you, just so you, for you, Virgil, is that how
Yes,
you say your name? I don't want to butcher.
yes.
But for you guys, like, what's you guys' anxiety about co-living? You know, I can tell a little bit about me when I decided to do my first one. I was very anxious. You know, I'm a buy and hold investor. Like we do fix and flip, you know, just for the active income. But I love buying and hold properties. So,
Hmm.
you know, like, but as you know, interest rate is so high. I mean, I bought properties. My last rental that I bought with loans was like 2 years ago, and I'm still not cash flowing what I need to be. So, and I'm like, when I start talking about co-living, I was like, this is great cash flow, right? But how about all these people in my house? I was afraid, like, what kind of people are gonna wanted to live with somebody that they don't even know? What kind of schedule? Like, I was so much anxiety on that end. And I said, I'm gonna do my first one. And then I did it. And then like visiting the property, like everybody has different schedules, right?
Hmm.
And then you go in there, they're like normal people. And
Yeah,
they're so happy to be there. They're like, wow, this is great property. Thank you so much. I'm like, oh wow, you feel good. That's why I'm
yeah,
like, okay, I want to keep doing this. So
yeah,
that's where, you know, but my anxiety was that, my biggest anxiety was that. Because I was like, okay, if I put up walls and then I have to sell the house later, I don't mind that. But I was more anxious about people who wants to come. What kind of business is that? And it's, you know, like I'm going to my fourth property that I'm closing next week. And I'm like, wow, it's like you put on, if you're gonna use pet split platform, which for me has been great because I don't have to worry about that you know the marketplace yet. But and then I'm like, okay, I can add more properties, have pet split managed for now, and then be able to grow. And I'm seeing like, wow, I have one going live. 2 weeks later, we had like 5 rooms filled. I was like, wow, this is great. And
yeah.
then, you know, like, but what's your guys' anxiety? Like, what do you think it's, you know, like that you want to learn more, that you know, that's something that you think is different from
Um,
the
well,
investment?
I know for me, I'm a little further along ahead in the research process of this journey, especially when it comes to pad split. I know my wife, she know I've sent her some literature on it. When I get on calls with individuals from pad split, I've told her about the calls. But I think with her, her anxiety more so is just she's more detail oriented than me. Me, I'm more so just like jump out the plane and build a parachute on the way down.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that.
She's more she's more like very detail oriented.
Okay, just one sec. She worries about liability.
Yeah, liability, how the structure of the entire process is, just getting more information so that way she has all her ducks in a row and she knows as much as she needs to know about the process. She's interested in it, especially with the cash flow returns, but she just wants to make sure she has all the proper information to make her decision about it.
Okay. Okay. And Crystal put there, my concern has been having enough reserves. I've been looking at rental arbitrage. I know some people that have been doing rental arbitrage for co-living, and they don't use pad split. That's, you know, like it's amazing. I think this investor has 27 properties under management, and it's all, most is arbitrage. Garrett said, I've been involved with 3 pad split properties, use renovation loans here in Atlanta. We got to talk about loans. Hey, Christian, you lender, but for your own deals, are you using outside funding for the initial purchase and rehab? That's Alex. I can talk a little bit about how we're structuring our loans, soon, definitely. And Carrie, do you want to come on a little bit? Because I know we've been talking for a while, girl. I want you to get it.
Carrie from Savannah.
Is she there?
Maybe not. Yes, maybe she's driving. That's fine.
I am at my son's school. Okay, good. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. All right. So yeah, guys, those are some things. That's what we're gonna kind of talk a little bit more about in terms of with Shelly and everything. So Shelly, welcome, Shelly. Come on in.
Thank you. Thank you. Guys, I am so out of my comfort zone. I hate being in the spotlight, but I hear Pace say all the time, you got to do the uncomfortable to scale. So here I am. So excuse me
Yes.
if I fumble or whatever. I'm just going to pretend like nobody's on here. I'm just talking to 2 people.
Exactly. That's what I do. I'm serious. I have you here, my whole screen. I don't see anybody else. That helps with the anxiety. But Shelly, what I think for you to come in and share your experience is the fact that you're a real estate investor and you also a realtor, and then you have co-living properties too.
Yeah.
That's what, like I think we got to bring you up.
Yeah. So just a little quick info about me. Before I got into real estate, I was in the medical field. I did that for about 18 years or so. And then I thought, what can I do that I can scale? So I thought being a real estate agent was it. So I've been doing that for about 13 years. And then I came across one of Pace's video, and I'm like, in the back of my mind, I always wanted to own properties. But I thought it's impossible. You have to have all this money. You have to have, and I'm like, I don't have all this money. I can't own properties. I don't have the knowledge to, not because real estate agent is different from investing. And then I thought, oh my God, creative. This is going to be so much benefit, and I can add so much value to what I'm doing as a realtor. And also now I can own properties. So I finally joined up. I joined Sub2, I think March of last year. And then I got caught up in Zoom world, and didn't take action until about July when I teamed up with some great partners. And then now I'm on my fifth property, CoLiving. And I really want to focus on that. Yeah.
So did you used to be a buy and hold investor, or you just jump from real estate investor, start investing co-living?
Yeah, just in CoLiving. Yep. And
That
I did buy and hold, but everything else has been CoLiving.
Okay.
Because it's just so much exciting. You're helping people, and it's even if you're at a 70%, 75% occupancy full, you're still making a profit. Versus if you have one single family and that people, they move out, you're out.
I mean, Shelly, I have properties from the buy and hold standpoint, and oh my gosh, it's like the agony of being a landlord for like one property,
Right.
and especially if you get like I call it a Karen, and you're like, oh my gosh, and it's like, and then from there you're only making like $200-300 cash flow, and it's such a, and you waiting, right? Yeah, because there's like in real estate, we all know like we want either cash flow or we want appreciation. Those are the 2 things that we want to kind of push for, right? Well, sometimes depending on now the appreciation has been a little bit more stagnant, a little bit slower. But I mean, it's guys, and I know Virgil is like or somebody asked about the reserves there. It's scary. Real estate is scary. I've learned to be less scared of real estate because I realized that, okay, there's different, and this is the reason why we have this community. There's so many angles and so many places that we join. So, so with that being said, on the co-living side of it, it's actually gotten me more and more comfortable because it's at least that, like when a tenant move out, you don't have to wait 3 months, right? 3 months is $2,000 mortgage, so you don't have to wait 3 months for that to come out because it keeps going. And at the same time, even if you get half of the tenants full, I know, from our experience, half the tenants full, it pays for the mortgage. Like, okay, perfect. So the rest is all profit. So you have less anxiety in that standpoint. And because you have multiple people in the rooms, when things break, like you know about it ahead of time. Like you're not going into a house where it's like it's completely destroyed and you got to spend another, you know,
Right.
15, $10,000 just to get a rehab because the tenant destroyed it for a whole year and you didn't know about it. So that part I thought was pretty cool.
No,
Yeah,
I
and that's
love, yeah, I love the fact that it's just like you have a little multifamily, right? Like if somebody or you somebody moves out, you don't feel like, oh my gosh, like for me, if one of my tenants on my traditional buy and hold and long term, if they leave until I get the house market, then do a little bit of repairs, it's 3 months later, like all of that. And with co-live, if somebody moves out, that's okay. I'm able to market and do all my stuff, but it's a lot easier to think that way.
it is, it is. And given now, that 12-week commitment, it also it helps if the person can't afford it and they need to move, they move. They're not stuck in the house for a while.
You're
And then you
right.
can replace that, as soon as possible versus having, the single family and it takes longer to get them out. You get them, get a new family in there. It just takes a whole longer. And then you
Uh,
don't have the cash flow.
Jim has his hand raised. Hey, Jim.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good
And thank
morning.
you guys for putting that on the other night. I just thought it was just wonderful and we're all talking about it and why not have, kind of a detailed discussion. And I've been working with Quentin for a little bit, so it was just kind of fun hearing him. And, he obviously has a lot of experience. He knows what works, but I think the other side, and it's really important for us as investors, is he knows what doesn't work with it. And, so I'm a little bit older, guys. I just got into real estate a couple of years ago. So I'm about 2.5 years in. I have 8 homes and 11 doors right now, although I've got 2 on the market that I'm trying to sell. But I'm trying to find cash flow. I would love to have enough cash flow, $10,000, $15,000 a year, and be able to travel. My wife and I kind of be able to travel around. And that's really hard to do. Long-term rentals
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
long game. It's a long game. The most money you're going to make in long-term rentals is going to be in appreciation, right?
That's
Well, I'm looking forward to giving my kids, whatever I have, but to get these homes and then just as soon as they're starting to make a lot of money, then I'm retiring and give them to the kids. That's great, and I want to be able to do a version of that. But what can I do today, to get cash flow? And so I've been interested in pad split. I haven't pulled the trigger on it. I've been investing in Kansas City, and Kansas City I think could be a great market. But let me tell you what I learned just in the other day. So I think pad split, I think can be the best thing. It can be the worst thing. And let me tell you, I think what I've learned in real estate is, you obviously look at things, decide what you want to do, and then once you've decided, then absolutely pull the trigger and go forward, but you need to minimize the risk as much as possible. So what I heard Quentin say was, unless you're actively working the pad split, and who was the real nice young girl, Pat, who talked there at the end, who talked about making sure there was no toilet paper in the bathroom.
Caitlin,
yeah.
Caitlin.
Yeah, Caitlin. So, for me, I would love to have 4 or
That
5.
was me. I'm here.
You did. Hey.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Caitlin, for your perspective.
See, you're the toilet
Yeah.
paper girl. See,
That's
Caitlin.
I hope that doesn't get stamped on your forehead. That would be
I
really
hope so too. But you know what? Even if it does, it's okay.
Good thing.
Everybody knows where I stand as far as expectations of the quality of rental. So
absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I think you should be congratulated for being proactive and taking away some of the things that can make it a bad experience. And that's kind of what I want to say here is don't just fall in love with the cash flow. Because if you're going to do that and you're not going to consider everything else, I don't think it's going to be a great experience for you. So I think for me being out of state, and it definitely it makes sense in state, and for you to either have somebody involved with it. And I don't think property management is going to be the right solution for what I heard Quentin say. Because Quentin was saying that you need to be, property management is going to make sure a tenant's in there, and when things go wrong, they're going to fix it. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that's how you want to approach your pad split. You want to solve things before they become an issue. Sort of like what Caitlin was talking about, making sure that it was relatively clean and then, the toilet paper. And so, I almost think if I go the route of pad split, I'm going to hire someone who can kind of do those things and maybe help with getting the right tenants in there,
Yeah.
because pad split's just going to make sure you don't have a criminal that's in there. And
And
I think also, guys, and Pat, I want to hear your all's perspective for sure. I want to just throw this last thing in. But I think for me, the home has to, if all of a sudden you can't have people that aren't family members in a home, and we all know what's happened to Airbnb, right? When it came out, it was a shiny new object. Everybody was in love with it. But if something happens with pad split, I don't think it will. But if all of a sudden they're going to pass legislature that is not going to embrace it, I want to make sure that home can be turned back into a long-term rental, and I'm not stuck holding the bag. So I think you can have all the benefits of pad splits, but you need to be smart about how you do it, where you do it, and how you operate it. So anyway, I'll stop there. That's just my 2 cents worth.
and Jim, that's those are all, for like, guys, I always say this, guys, we're creative real estate. So those are all valid points. But I just want to just point out, guys, we do a co-living property management. So just with that being said, it's more than just, and again, it's just one of those things, right? Like we have clients I got clients in Vietnam, I got clients in Israel. So it's just one of those things where, everyone's different, however hands-on you want. But again, it's the same as like Airbnb, guys. It's the same as Airbnb. Like, do you want to do property management or do you want to do it yourself? It's up to you. However much you want. I just know that, from my experience, being a landlord sometimes can be hell. It pushes me away from it. So I'm like, okay, that's something that we have to fix and kind of learn. So, but with that being said, the risk of what you're saying, I just want to get to your point, is that everything's a risk, right? Everything's a risk. How much risk are you willing to put in? Like that's why you got to buy smart. That's why, when you get into it, that's why I want to go back to Shelly a little bit, but that's why when you find those deals, how, acquisition, how you find this, how you buying those deals. There's so many angles to it because they get excited, they pull the trigger, they get into a deal that is just not the best deal, right? It looks great, but it's just not the best deal. It doesn't underwrite because lately, and I've talked to a few of you guys out here, is that you got to be conservative.
We can't, Pat, we cannot hear you.
Oh my gosh, I've been muted the whole time.
No, we just got, for some reason, just for like the last second.
So no, it's just how you buy the property. I think that's where I left off, and how, and that's what I want to go back to Shelly. But it's like, how do you buy the property? Because you got to buy it right, and there's so many angles of it where it's just this. You got to know that you got to have appreciation, you got to have cash flow, you have tax write off, you got to be in a certain good area. So there's so many angles to that. But we, as shiny object, people who gets excited about shiny object, we jump in and we do the wrong things. There is 10,000 things that can go wrong, but at the same time, there's 10,000 things that can go right. So, but again, guys, we're creative. So, yes, legislation is going to change. Things are going to change. But there's also, we are in affordable housing crisis, right? So, as you know, the blue states and those states they are more friendlier to those things. These things will change at the same time. As a community, as a group, we had a meetup with another guy that does Airbnb and Passlet. We can also go to, government and actually, help them legislate it, vote, and do all the stuff and block certain things. There's things that we can do. But for me personally, I feel very, very confident about co-living. It's affordable housing. It's the win-win for everyone. And yeah, there are going to be rules and regulations. I myself got a 14 room property in East Cobb. Got the worst neighbor, cannot get that thing to, I bought it sub to initially to do co-living, pad split, and I couldn't. It happens, but at the same time, I know a guy that has 5 properties in Cobb County that has pad split, has no issues. So those are the things that is creative. It's not going to be black and white. We got to remain creative. That's very, very important. So yes, Shelly, I want to go back to you again, just talking about acquisitions.
Yeah, well, even before that, are you mute again? I mean, right, like you said, there's a housing crisis because right now we're 5 to 6 million units short for 2025 to meet this housing demand. So that's all where co-living again comes in, whenever like there's a disaster like what happened in California, there's going to be a lot of migration happening too. So again, more housing are needed. People are needing more affordable housing. And you're talking about like acquisitions, how I'm finding the properties. You know, we're going off, I have a marketing team that looks for these specific properties. And so they're going after a specific niche, a specific area that's going to be suitable for co-living, not just, you know, random HOAs, of course, we don't look at. So we just kind of down on the areas.
So Shelly, so I know we have other agents here too, but I just wanted to kind of ask questions like, so how, guys, like for us, the other investors there, how can we, or how can one work with an agent like yourself, and how can we take that to, you know, use that to our advantage, right? Like, how can we find deals? What is it that a unicorn agent is different from a normal agent that they're not looking for, that they're not doing? Because there's a lot of things that I know that we've talked, Christiane and I've talked. There's a lot of things that are also not only off market, but they're also on market, right?
Mhm.
Very good deals. I mean, yeah. So there's a lot of wholesale. There's a lot of wholesale deals that brings deals to me that is actually on market. I see that all the time. I'm like, wait a minute, like this is on market. It's in my backyard, you know, and they're bringing it to me at $50,000 less than what's on market.
Yeah, so even on market, anything that's 120 days that are sitting on market that can't sell, so that's good ones to go after. And then the off-market deals, I do like 80% off-market deals. I've been doing off-market deals that I didn't realize it was kind of a wholesaling procedure before I got into sub two. Because I've been sending out, like I'll have a buyer, it could be an investor, it could be a retail buyer, to tell me exactly their criteria, and I go directly into that niche that they're looking and find that property. So then those buyers, those sellers now are coming back to me as a first line of contact. They may not be ready at that time, but then they'll come back and say, hey, my house now, I'm in errors, you know, I'm going to, you know, be facing foreclosure. It could be a probate property. It could be bank owned soon. So I have a lot of those sellers that are coming back to me directly, first line of contact before they do anything else. So that definitely helps.
No, I like what Carrie put it here because I agree with her so much. Co-living needs to be reframed. It lowers the environment impact, can create community with higher tenant happiness, solves a housing shortage, the power that should be helping us, not hindering us. I totally agree. And let me tell you something else that I observe. I'm YouTube watching my videos or anything, and then comes pad split marketing. It's terrible. I don't think they do justice to what co-living really is. And guys, if you go on Instagram and put co-living, you know, the hashtag, you're gonna see co-living around the world. I was baffled, like to see all these beautiful properties, or the way they see it. It's not the way we see it here. And I'm like, but at the same time, I don't think Pet Split is doing a good job. You know, they focus on price point, and you know, like they are not really focusing on give the community. Let me interview some people from the community. Let me, you know, and put it out there and push it like the way Airbnb does with the hosts and everything is an experience, right? So that's what I think it goes hand in hand. It needs to be really reframed the way co-living is.
Hey Chris, that's what you know, Charles, you know, the brother-in-law that's from London that was talking to us, and he is saying that, oh my gosh, in London, that's you know, because we're explaining to us, like it's all over the place, like all over.
Yeah.
Living's
Get your phone, put Instagram, go co-living. You see, it's amazing, and people wanted to stay there, right? Like yeah, it's just the way everything is. And I think us as new hosts coming in, or you know, like we need to when we talk about co-living, reframe it that way. You know what I mean? That's why I put my properties there, and I say, hey, look at this view. This is a property that people actually wanted to live in, right? Those are the things. Take care of
Chris,
people.
you
Uh,
just gave me an idea. I just had a light bulb moment. I just had a light bulb moment.
it's no predatory. It helps the guest. Yes, Carrie.
No, what if we take all this passively co-living, right? But you take one room and that's an Airbnb room. How's that? You make it like the nicest room with the nicest view, and you have the Airbnb for one room and the rest is co-living.
You
Like,
can't we can't with pet split unless you do it on your own. Yeah. A year from now.
Right? Co-living escalator, co-living.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tisha, you have a question or a comment?
I do. I have a question for our guest, Shelly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on. Hey, everybody. I'm a real estate agent and I'm also an investor, but I've really kind of had a difficult time with my mind around this. So can you tell me, like, what is your thought process when you're lead generating, right? Because you could be lead generating for a retail sale, or you could be lead generating for a property for you to purchase yourself, or you could be lead generating for your other investors. So can you tell me kind of what is your thought process when you are talking to sellers, or how you go about your lead generation day and how you think about meshing your real estate sales business with your real estate investing business?
Yeah. So when I'm lead generating, I'm looking at all the possibilities, right? Could I own this property? Would this be for, a past split? Could this be? So when I'm going through all the options with them and giving them all the options that how I can, what we can do to sell your house. Can it be creative? Can it be sub two? Can it be a wrap? Can it be, is there an HOA? It does not allow rentals. Then so I go through all of that. And then I look and say, okay, this house, like say, for instance, I had a seller. She contacted me. She was in deep pain. She needed to move. She had a loss of her spouse. She needed to move. Her HOA did not allow rentals. She was already 3 months behind in her mortgage. If she didn't move, she would have to pay. She would have to pay to sell her house if she put it on the retail market. So I knew right away, okay, that was not an option. Let's cross that out. So thankfully, I was part of this community at that time. So then I reached out to Pat and we came up with a way, we did a wrap. We ended up selling her house. That was the only way to sell her house. If not, she was either going to foreclose on it or pay to sell her house. So that's kind of some of the strategies that I, use. It just depended on the situation. Then, okay, we can do this or that with it. And then some of the properties, I keep say, okay, this is for, like last month, I had about 8 properties that I came across that could be either first, so some of them could have been a flip or a co-living. Like I sent them to Christiani and Pat, and then that's how they've been finding their co-living houses.
Got it. Okay, so we're on the same page there. I just wondered, does that get to be a conflict when you have a seller and you know that we're not going to probably be paying retail? We could with sub 2, but we're not generally going to be paying retail. How do you approach with a seller? Are you just focused on their situation, like knowing that a particular seller can't go on market, like you just said? Or are you trying to sell it on market? Is that your primary focus when you're looking every day?
Sell it on market. My primary focus is the investment part of it. The last part of it is just list it on the market. Like I really want that property versus to list it.
Well,
yay. Oh, yay, because that's what I think. So thank you for confirming that.
Let me add to that because like Shelly, like she found, that story that I talked about, the pass split that we have in Jonesboro, that $5,000 entry fee under there. So, Shelly found that, but just as an example, it's like, that one couldn't go on the market, right? It was negative. It was behind, like it was negative. So it couldn't go in the market. So it's like, okay, coming to an investor is a lot easier. And then also a partner now, right? So it's a lot easier than to just try to sell it on the market. There's no way that one can't go in the market. They're negative. They were negative.
I even helped that people get into a rental, remember? Because they couldn't get into a rental.
Right. She called and talked to a property management.
Yeah.
Moved them out of the house so we can get house. So she helped them out.
They couldn't find a house on their own.
You're right. Yeah. So then that was nothing. That house was negative, but at the same time, it was a 5,000 entry fee, and that's generating $1,500 a month. So yeah.
Yeah, and if the house is in like a D-class neighborhood, then it fits more of like a I know, okay, this house is probably going to fit more of like a pad split, because if it's close to workforce, it's close walking distance to things, it's got transportation, there's like multiple bus stops. And believe it or not, if there's churches in that area, it even helps for pad split, because churches tend to have like outreach programs where they're trying to find affordable living for families. So it's always good to have that community ties. So those are the things that I look for when I'm looking for a pad split property.
Michelle, I didn't think about churches. That is a great point. Yeah, that's amazing. But yeah, so those are the stuff that is just so, so as an agent, Shelly, for an agent and investor. So can we talk a little bit more about acquisition, guys? Right. I just want to hear in the side check, guys. Do you guys want to hear about acquisition a little bit more and how to find these deals and how to pull the trigger? We'd ask like, what's holding you back? What's keeping you from moving to the next level? I'm not I say co-living because that's what we're talking about now. Because there's always, when we talk about real estate, Shelly, you would talk about this a lot. Like, there's cash flow and there's wealth building, right? Wealth building is acquiring this property, getting this property. But then you become house poor. There's no cash coming in. Like, where's the cash coming from? I need to go get a job. I need to get a part-time job. I need to drive Uber because I need cash flow because all the money is stuck.
So Alex is asking where the go-to places you find your off-market deals.
So I have a marketing company that I use, and before I got into Sub2, when I was doing a realtor, I would actually handwritten letters. This is before I would do it myself. It was a lot of work, right? 200 letters a week. I had to get 800 a month out. I had my kids helping me putting, stamps on it, handwritten everything, make it look personal. And so I was not only getting one transaction, I was getting double-ended. Okay. So I have a lot of these people that I was reaching out to for years that are always coming to me. So that's one way that I'm getting these people. It's just from previous work. And then now I have a marketing team that, we zone in on all of these areas that are specific for pad split.
Okay, does it answer your question, Alex? Can I just touch a little bit? I know we're going to talk more about acquisition, but I want to talk about my experience as a lender and also acquiring my own pad split. So, a lot of you guys know I got into I started my first pad split back. I think went live in November. It's in Decatur. So that property was a fix and flip. So we use a hard money loan. We rehab. That one was a full gut, right, Pat?
Yes.
Like, we learned so much with that one, with contractors and everything else. But in the end, was a beautiful property. Was not selling. We didn't want to cut the price because we love the area. So we decided to do co-living, right? So the first thing that we did, okay, before I build any walls here, I change any of this, I'm getting a DSCR loan. So I refi the property. I got a cash out refi. And so we bought, how much did we buy the property for, Pat?
200,000.
200. I know all in rehab and holding cost, we had about 100,000. So that one was all hard money lending. Once we refi the property got appraised for 475,000, which was amazing. We got cash back, was 123, right, Pat? Do you remember? Was about 123. So we were able to pay the rehab, the hard money lender, and we still have like 20 grand to put back and put up walls, furniture, and and hold the property. Because when we underwrite, something that I learned now, I mean, first of all, if you're looking at any properties, make sure that underwrites for long term. Just worst case scenario, if we need to long term, we're able to do it, right? Second of all, we look at it in a sense like, okay, so how much for me, like when I'm looking at a property, I want to do what we call the fixed to split. So I want to get a hard money loan in there, and then do all the rehab, and then from there we get the DSCR cash out, pay everybody back, and then that's the sweetest spot for me. Pay everybody back and then put it on pad split. And I know pad split, I usually underwrite at least 90 days for to get the property stabilized. That has been working for me and my properties. So that's what I do. Of course, when I stress it to 6 months, it works too. So that's where I have been doing. So I'm going to my fourth one. One is the SCR. So I do the SCR before I pull walls. A lot of clients come to me looking for co-living lending. I'm like, let's get the loan now. Once it's done, you go back and build walls, right? If they are purchasing. If they are rehabbing, doing the same concept as me, there's a lot of nuances that I can always make sure that they get more money back to them, so they can pay everybody back.
But
So,
that's
and then I also, my other two are creative, sub two, amazing. Like this one that we are in the process of setting up rooms, right, Pat? We're putting TVs today, and probably gonna be live next week. Those was a 16,000 entry fee, and the property is amazing. It's a property that people always ask me, do you go, what kind of areas do you go for pet split? I'm like, no, I'm not, but like my main thing is to get properties where I want to have properties. And then from there, my second step, if I see a house, a wholesaler send it to me, or Shelly sent something to me, I'm gonna be calling or texting my pet split rep, text him and say, hey, how I don't even go on pet split. I said, can you just do occupancy, see the numbers here? And then he tells, hey, it's 90% occupancy. It's these are the prices. And then I have this pet split co-living calculator. I put everything in there, all my properties in there, and then I'm like, okay, it pencils it. If I'm able to cash flow a thousand at least, I'm doing it. So that's, that's what I have in mind. And when clients come for loans, I'll tell them the same thing. Don't build walls, because depending on appraiser, they are not going to do it. Some appraisers are good. They're going to look at the, 7 rooms or whatever from 4 to 7. They're not going to, it's not going to appraise well. You want to get the biggest money, and then you go back and get your, and build walls. So for me, has been working a lot. And then for people that are coming to us, because like now we have a team, right, Shelly? We have we have everything co-living. Like if people come to me, hey, I'm looking for this, I say, hey, I have the realtor for you. I do the loans. We have the property management, rehab. I mean, so many times, design, setting up. We have all of that, and there in the ways that we do it too. Like this property that we have now, that's going live next week. We allow 2 weeks for rehab, right? We're building walls, and we also adding another bathroom, guys. So it's 3 in-suite bedrooms, that money makers. Always think that way. If you have a private bathroom, you're gonna make big bucks. So we're building a third one in there, but those for 2 weeks. What do? We have a list of furniture. We have a list of stuff that we need to do. So we're not waiting for anything. Like we want everything to be seamless. So we already got the beds, everything delivered there. They were done yesterday. Today they're setting up. We have all the crew there to set up stuff, the cleaners. So everything is like this, right? Like everything, we optimize everything. So that is a good thing. It took us a while to get here, but now we feel like, okay, this model works. And for me, as far as funding, I don't know where you guys are, because I know DSCR, you need to have a certain credit score, and the rent in the area gotta be higher than your monthly payment. So everything needs to be, well designed, but that's the best way for me. So I pretty much don't have any money in, because everything that I put in, I get paid back after I get the cash out refi. And that's what I've seen with a lot of investors.
Yeah, no, her strategy is amazing, guys.
Do you guys have any questions, like as far as funding, like anything? And now this fourth property that we're supposed to close today, but hopefully Monday, that one is going to be a rehab too. I'm bringing a private money lender to get the gap funding plus some of the holding cost, and like just does some stuff. So I'm using private money lenders on my deal, so I'm not putting my own money. So it we're probably gonna, how much do we raise for that one, Pat? For 50,000, 60,000, just to give me enough buffer. And then everything that I do, I underwrite everything. So I know when you do the cash out refi, they are gonna get back, they're gonna get their money once we're done, if everything is the same as last year. We don't know what's gonna happen this year, but I'm going the same mentality that I had the year before, and it's been working for my investors with their loans when they come to me. So I think it works. But if you guys have any questions, like as far as loans, funding, please raise your hand and let me know.
I think it's great what you're doing with the loans, because like the ones I just sent to you, the 3 of them, you know, we did the loans first, make sure we could get into the houses and
Yeah,
do.
because we never know. We never
Sure,
know.
it's going to be appreciation, cash flow before we start building walls. So
And there's a way we can restructure too. Like I think with the SCR, the thing is
Chris,
like a lot of people don't have the credit score, right? But they can partner up with somebody else. Yes, Beth?
no, I was going to say that, guys. Like I'm an entrepreneur. I had a year ago, I had amazing credit, and then a year later, my credit went to the pothole. So my credit sucks. I'm just saying it sucks. But that's why I have wonderful partners. I'm like, okay, I got great partners, got great credits, and from the funding part. So for you guys out there that are just saying,
And you have the sweat equity, right, Pat? You put the sweat equity.
I'll put in the toilet for you guys. I'll build toilets. I'll do whatever you want to do. But my point is for you guys out there to say, okay, guys, I don't have the funding. The funding is just not right. This is not right. That's not right. And you get scared and you're not pulling the trigger, going back again. Like, what's holding you back? What is holding you back? Guys, I'm as honest as I can be. A year ago,
yeah, I just want to point something out.
That's our Chris.
Yeah, no, I just want to point something out. Like in our meetup, I asked the same question: what's holding you back? Because I kind of want to understand where people are. That's why, like when I'm telling my story, I'm kind of saying the feelings that I had, everything that went through my mind, all my anxiety, because it's important to see it. You're like, wow, that's exactly the way I feel, and how I overcame all of that, right? Because of course there's going to be risk on everything, guys. We don't have we don't know what's going to happen with the market, where it's going to be, but as long as my underwriting is good and I have that, I have that peace of mind. But we ask, and like there's people in the room that say, hey, I have money, I don't have time. There's another girl that say, hey, I have money, but I don't want to learn. And there's people that need the money. I'm like, guys, like this is a community. We're all here. Look, all the operators, like I'm an operator, Pat is an operator, Shelly's an operator. We had Caitlin, Quentin, like all these people are here. Like, let's get together, let's sit down. And another thing that I say too, and I want to stress it because a lot of people ask me like, hey, so is it worth paying for pad split? Like, guys, I'm not married to them. I'm doing this because I want to scale. After I have a brand, after I work on getting the residents, I might not need them. That's okay. It's worth for me now to maybe, leave some money at the table, but it's giving me speed to acquire more properties, because my goal is to have 10 by the end of summer. So that's one thing. Second thing, partnerships, right? Like Shelly and I and Pat, we just did our first flip together, 3 of us. And we're like, okay, if I don't like Shelly as my partner, I'm not going to partner up with her anymore. We sell the house. That's it. But those are the things that we got to, like I know sometimes you get that paralysis analysis, but, do one. Like when I tell my brain that's going to be telling me all of these scary things, I'm like, it's only one house. If something happens, we got to make sure we have a good operating agreement. But if I don't get along, that's okay. We move on, right, Shelly? That's the way I feel, because people get very anxious about partnering up. And I would say, like, do a very good operating agreement so everybody knows. Because Pat and I have been partnered for so long. I mean, that he knows what he needs to do. I know what I need to do. We don't need operating agreement. But with Shelly coming in, we did operating agreement because I want to make sure Shelly understands how much she's getting, what she's responsible for. Pat is the same. So those are the things that once we start talking to our mind and answering those questions, it's a lot easier for us to move forward.
And then I wanted to add.
Oh, yeah, Victoria's right here. Victoria, I was thinking about you, Victoria.
I want to add before you just want to say, like, guys, like, was it a year ago? I don't remember. My dates are all messed up. But
look at that. Hello, if you need a deal, 25-40 all in and operated for CoLiving.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
I'm telling you.
A year ago, maybe it wasn't less, but I closed my restaurant down, guys. I was depressed. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I thought I was going to go back to the work market, the job market. I was like, okay, I've got real estate. I've got knowledge. I've got all this. What am I going to do? At this point, I was scared. All right. My credit, with that being said, it put me $100,000 in debt. My credit went off, like went in the bucket. But at the same time, from a mindset standpoint, it's like, what's holding me back, right? Like what Chris said, like, what's holding me back? I'm like, and I know this weird thing. I'm like, F it. I'm like, F it, F it, F it. I'm gonna keep moving forward. I'm gonna get myself in further debt. I'm gonna move forward. So fast forward that, 6 properties later, 4 past splits later, I'm like, okay, good. I'm finally feel like I'm getting back on my feet. Now, with the restaurant is one thing, but now I'm like, okay, now I have a rehab business. So it's just one of those things where it's like, what's holding you back? Like, my credit effing sucks. It's terrible. But you know what? That's not going to hold me back. And sometimes I know the how, but it's also the who. So finding the right partners, like Chris said, when I had, my salon business, we've had tons of different restaurant business. When you have that one partner, you married to that partner. In real estate, you have one deal. If you don't like that person, you're not getting back with them again. You're going to go through more deals with other people. So that's very, very valuable in terms of that standpoint. So at this point, it's February 2025. But like, what's holding you back? Is it money? Somebody here has money. Is it operating? Somebody here has operating. Is it lending? Is it whatever it is? Time? Somebody has more time than we do. So again, I know we're kind of repeating that. So we want to ask you guys on the side, what can we answer, but what's holding you guys back? Like, how can you go from, zero credit, zero money, scale to, 5, 6, 10 properties? Any question? Anybody want to come up?
Hey Pat, I'll start. So I think doing JV is a great strategy when you're new to real estate investing, especially when you're trying to learn and grow and scale a business. It can really help you spread some of that risk out and help you get up to speed by learning from some people that are more tenured and experienced in the industry. I think the thing that's holding me back right now is one, deal flow and not having access to a lot of deals outside of what you might see on Facebook. And the second part of that is really assessing profitability and what's going to make a good deal and a good fit for you.
So that,
right? I can help you find the deals. They can help
go ahead.
help you underwrite the deal. And everybody else in here can help with that. That's why we all work together.
Clint, are you looking for a traditional loans, or are you looking to a creative? What are you looking for?
Looking for a creative finance deal, whether it's something that's using a DSCR loan or a pad split opportunity, like you mentioned today, and like we've been discussing here. But
Right.
I'm open. I think the goal is to develop a diversified portfolio, like what you have, where you do have buy and holds, and then you have some creative financing opportunities that are creating that cash flow while you're building longer term wealth.
Okay, yes. There's, I always tell people, like you can find deals, even like what Shelly helps us a lot. She usually sees property that stay in the market for how long? Shelly, 90 days, and then
Better
yeah,
long, 120 plus.
Yeah. So what do you do? Tell your process, because I know you send us a bunch of stuff. You call the agent or you call the seller.
The agent direct. Well, if it's, call the agent first, because if it's on the market, we don't call go to the seller. So we call the agent first, and then we, go through all the different, get the information on the seller. The seller's, depending on the seller situation, then we can create the exit strategy for that house. And so that's how we would start off on that way. If it's not on the market, then we'll contact the seller directly.
Yes, but guys, for you guys that are advanced, I know Shelly, like this is the thing, like for those that are advanced, they know, everybody knows, okay, long days of marketing, things like that. But guys, it's not only that. I just want to say there's hundreds, like right now, I've got more deals to look at that I don't have time to look at, right? And I know they're pretty decent deals. So I think it's how you look at it. I want to say this for more of the advanced people. It's how you look at the deals and what can you do with these deals. Because we get deals all the time. Guys, I've got my deal backup right now is probably like, I got 5 deals that I can't even, because I don't have time. I don't have time to look at it. And I know they're decent deals. And these deals are coming from, either from a real estate agent like Shelly, or it's coming from a wholesaler. There are deals out there. The problem is that you don't know how or what to do with the deals, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
They're not looking at it from all different angles. And Clint, you and I talked before. I look at things from 10 different angles. And I look at it from a conservative standpoint, because I I messed up. I screwed up a few times.
Yeah,
So,
it's terrible having to hold properties if we did not underwrite for that. Yes.
so it's out there, guys. I just want to say, like, there's creative deals out there. There's cash markets out there. There's deals like what Chris said that you can take and you can, fix to flip, or sorry, what is it, Chris? I messed up. What was it?
Fix to split.
Fix to split. Yeah, fix to split. And there are deals out there. Talking about that, I got to talk to you about one, Chris.
And then the creative one, right, Pat? Like they're turnkey, which is awesome. What does it mean, turnkey? Everything's in place, good AC, good everything. We just need to build walls. Like
Yeah.
this one that's going live next week, we adding a bathroom there inside one of the rooms. So that's something different that you should not do it. And I think, like, as far as walking through the property, it's amazing to have. I say that to Pat because he has this amazing eye to finding space, and it's so important because this property that we're doing, I wanted to do 7 rooms, and then when we walked through the first time, I said, no, we might be able to do 7. But when I brought the contractor there, so we had the measuring tape and doing all of that, it would be too busy, too crammed in. We're like, okay, now we only doing 6 rooms. We don't need 7 here. So we got to take in consideration square footage and all of that.
But Chris, but at the same time, I disagree with you. But at the same time, what I saw that you were smart was like, but you added the extra bathroom, so you got 3 suites that was going to make up for the funding for it. You see,
Yep.
No one is going to tell you that. That's just from your experience. You're like, wait a minute, I'm going to be less, one less room. Like instead of 7 rooms, but you got 3 rooms.
Yeah, they're going to make up for it. Yes.
Guys, this is one property. I know I've talked to a few of you guys about it, or I tried to. So it's on market right now. Clint, I talked to you about it. So I've talked the wholesaler down. The entry fee is going to be 13,000. It's completely rehabbed, completely good to go. It's just not underwriting for long-term rental, but it would make a good co-living, right? The only thing is just the cost of the rehab part is where I'm kind of where my challenge is. But if anybody wants to partner up in it, it's a good deal. It's by the airport. It's in Atlanta, closer to Union City, but it's in Atlanta. And it's just one of those things where it's it's completely rehab property. It's good to go. Or if someone needs a home. And it's a great deal. It's sub 2 deal. The PITI is only $2,000, which is really good for pad split, because with pad split, if it's, you don't want, like with co-living, you don't want like 2,600. You don't want anything higher than that, right? You want to keep at 2,000 because the 2,000 is going to pay for itself. And then from there, everything else is going to be cash flow. So, it's a little bit, I'm on the border of it. Like, it's not 100% home run, but it's a good deal. If anybody was interested in that, you guys want to talk about that, please reach out. But we should be closing that one up soon. So.
And then also the style of the house, right? Don't you guys like the certain floor plan, like the split level, the split houses?
I thought I was never gonna say that, but I love those properties like 1960s, 70s, because they're perfect. They don't have those high ceilings, the 2000 ones,
Right.
remember, like, everything's high ceiling. Those are not good properties because you need rooms, you need bedrooms. And so the 1960s and up now is my.
I think it's 80s, that split style.
Exactly. That's what we go for. And we like ranch properties too. It's amazing. And what did Alex ask there on the chat? He said, I'm guessing you avoid houses on a slab if you plan to add a bathroom.
Say that
Okay,
one more
Pat,
time. No, somebody.
guess.
In 1 second, I'll send them to voicemail.
Hey, yeah, like if you're adding a bathroom, I'm assuming you're staying off of a slab, like concrete slab.
No, we dig,
No?
man.
See?
Really? That
No,
seems like the huge cost.
we dug. I mean, obviously it's a little bit harder, but that's not a problem. There's nothing we can't build out. There's nothing that we can't fix. So we can do it. That's not an issue at all, whether it's slab or not.
It's not a big deal, Carrie said too. Carrie helps manage properties too for fix and flip.
It's a mess. We don't like it, but we do it. We just did one this past week. We just got done. We get it done in like 1 week. So yeah.
Pat, do you know could you convert duplexes and triplexes to pad split?
Oh my gosh! Of course you can. I've got one right now that is obviously, guys. So okay, just want to tell you a quick story. So we live in historic like Midtown area, right, in Atlanta, 1920 homes, right. So that's the kind of areas that we live in. So probably every other house in our neighborhood is a duplex, like an actual duplex that they converted many years ago, and it actually has meters and things like that. And all these homes now are like single family homes that converted back to single family homes. So yes, so you definitely can. There's a property right now that I've talked to an investor somewhere in our group here. It's a duplex. He bought a duplex. He bought it creatively. I think it's owner finance, and it's got 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom each side. It's in Jonesboro, Georgia, and he's got 2 regular renters in there, right? And they're not paying rent, so he's having to evict them. He's having to kick them out. So he's bringing us in as the property management. And now, what is the best use? Is it long term? No, it's not. We're cutting a hole in there. It's 2 bedrooms. We're probably gonna add like probably I don't know, like 10, 8 to 9, of rooms in here. We're gonna do co-living. Imagine that cash flow.
You can probably do like a multiple bathrooms too, like do the mini split. And
We
so
can.
each room can be more of like a suite.
Exactly. Well, it depends. It depends on how much you want to spend on it, and that's actually right by our Jonesboro pathway that we filled in. In 3 weeks there. So I know they can fill very fast because we got proven concept. So, guys, is this helpful?
Oh,
Does
Very
anybody?
much. Very, very much. Pat, what size do the minimum size bedrooms need to be for pad split?
I don't remember the actual pass split number, but for us, we like to keep it like an 8 by 9. Sometimes even if it's anywhere between like an 8 by 9, 8 by 10, somewhere in that range. Even if it's smaller, it's 8 by 10. Thank you. So yeah, guys, honestly, even if it's not an 8 by 10, it doesn't matter. Pass split is not going to come and hone you in each one. I mean, even once you do, so right now, for example, our Jonesboro property, the $5,000 entry. I'm eyeballing an 8 bedroom. It's coming next year. It's going to be an 8 bedroom. It's going to be tiny. But hey, look, you know what? 8 bedrooms. They're going to pay, maybe $400 a month. That's extra $400 that we didn't have. So that cash flow is going to go up to, instead of 2,000, it's going to go up 2,400. I'm just saying, just keep that in mind. So obviously, we don't want to compact it in too much, and it just depends. Sometimes with these homes. I know we said in the meetups, but like we have 7 people, right? It's completely booked. We have 7 people in the home, 2 cars. So we thought parking was going to be an issue, and it will be, but we plan for it. But there's only 2 cars. Another property we have that's also 7 bedrooms only has 2 cars. Something to think about, right?
That's awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Jeff raised his hand. Hey, Jeff.
How are you? Hey,
Good.
good. I'm definitely not holding back. I'm in quite a few deals. I'm just being more selective now. I just had a very big deal a few weeks ago with that apartment complex I bought into. But also, co-living, everyone thinks it's brand new. It's nothing new. I met my wife more than 30 years ago, and she was living in New York in a co-living building in a house. So it's really nothing new.
Was that illegal?
I know it was co-living at the time, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
co-living. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really nothing new. It's been around for a really long time, and it's co-living. Now, Pantsplat's the name of the company, if I'm mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm just being more selective right now. I have to just chew the numbers. I'm looking for something more cash flowing. I know Pat and I have been talking, so just chewing the numbers.
Yes.
That's it.
Well, the other one too. I don't know if you guys seen out there. So we wholesale a property in Ellenwood. And I messed up on this one, right? It was when I went back and I first did it, I thought I could only do 6 rooms, and so we wholesale. It was a $7,000 wholesale. Like we sold it for $7,000. Like it was just we had so much going on at the time. We're like, okay, we couldn't handle it, so we just wholesaled it to another investor. And then I'm doing the rehab for this property. So and I went and rehabbed it. And as I was doing the rooms, I was like, wait a minute, I can do 7 rooms. And we reconfigured. And this little bitty property, I think it's like 1,500 square feet house. We got 7 rooms in this. And it's a split level home that they talked about there. And that's gonna great. That cash flow goes from, like, let's just say, for example, if it's 500, from 500 to $1,000 cash flow, from 1,000 to 1,500 cash flow. So that's the stuff that we sometimes, again, I'm only human, I make mistakes too. But those are the stuff where I'm like, keep in mind, entry fee, $7,000, rehab, $25,000. But then it's going to start cash flowing right away. And it's basically a mini apartment. So that part I thought was pretty exciting. I was kind of, kicking myself in the butt that I shouldn't keep it. I should have kept it myself, but it happens. But guys, so that's what we have. Is there any other questions? Is there anything else? So I know we started out, Shelly, thank you so much, for coming in and kind of helping us out from the acquisition part there. So, but again, our theme is that what is holding you back? What is holding everyone back from it? Shelly, do you have a market? Do you have an analysis on the market for this year?
Yeah, I mean, from looking at everything, we don't have a crystal ball, right? But from looking at everything, they're saying prices, the worst case scenario, prices will just flatten out, but it looks like it's going up. And so, which will create more demand for co-living.
Okay.
Because rates are still high.
It's the season, right?
High.
Yeah.
It's a season.
Yeah.
So
I was talking to somebody, and I want to say 2 points in terms of thing. I've always been anti-Macon. I was always bashing Macon. I don't really Macon. Well, when I've seen a couple of things out there. I know Macon is growing fast, but now from a Section 8 standpoint, from a co-living standpoint, I think Macon, I'm going to start looking into Macon a little bit more.
Pat, how about Augusta, man? Because I was talk with Caitlin, they're up there.
I don't know.
We have a lot of sub-2 people up there too.
Yeah, I need to start looking. I haven't looked enough, I think the price point might be the same, because we're looking like, okay, so right now there's a lot of deals out there. There's tons of deals out there. And if we can get a creative deal, right, we can get into a property for, $20K or less with no banks, nothing, right? Just get it creative. We can convert that into a co-living easily, a passively easily. And it's it's affordable housing. I think it's a win-win.
And just something that I want to say for when I'm structuring creative deals like sub-2 deals, what I think for you guys, I think it's best to bring, like for our deals, I bring PMLs. So I pay them back after 6 months or sometimes a year. But if you guys don't have a lot of money and want to bring a partner, split the equity, split everything, do 50-50 all the way. And you guys be the operator and have the person bring all the capital. That's a nice way to do, especially creative deals, because you're going to need more money, because it's not only the entry fee, right, guys? And then you're going to do a little bit of rehab, because you're going to have to put up walls and then furniture and then hold the property for at least 3 months until you get stabilized with pad split or whatever you're using as a marketplace. So always keep that in mind, and bring somebody else, partner up, do one, see how it feels. If you like it, keep doing more. I know people that they only use equity partners. So I haven't done that yet. I've been using PMLs, but once I get to my 10, after that, I'm going to start opening up for everything in the different areas too. I do want to go outside Atlanta. Tracy, you raise your hand. Tracy, where did you go?
I'm right here. Sorry, I'm like loading my car. I just had a question. Good morning, everybody. This has been amazing, by the way. Thank you guys for just being so honest about everything. Because, we do get stuck in our heads. And so,
Trace, I get so excited when people say, like I just got a text, this investor that I know in Tulsa said, hey, pad split is just open up here. She's so excited, because people sometimes it's a lot of stuff to market, right? To worry about acquiring the property, having to do all of that, and then market. So she just got so excited. I know Carrie has been working one in Savannah. I'm excited for her too. Anybody, like, come on in and say, hey, guys, I'm doing my first one. We get very excited. We want everybody to win.
Well, and so my question is so I got, sometimes you're stuck in your head because you got burnt. So like my husband, so I have like the perfect scenario because my husband's a builder. I have ways to get deals, right? But I've just been kind of stuck in my head because our town, even in New Hampshire, live free or die, sued us because we had a midterm rental and an ADU and a tree house, and they do not want people doing this. And so my question is like, I mean, part of this, right, is like, what's the laws and what is the ramifications of when they find out you're doing this, right? There's occupancy laws, there's all that kind of stuff. It cost me $50,000 and a brand new septic last year because they didn't like me having two things on my property. And so I'm just wondering, like, do you just kind of go under the radar? Does pad split handle that? Like, that's where I'm a little nervous because I do not want to be in that situation again.
So, Tracy, I think first off, I think you're in New Hampshire. I think that's the first one, right? So it depends because we're in Georgia. Georgia's slightly different, right? Like it's just, and the thing is, to be honest with you, again, I always say we're creative. We do go under the radar. We do. I'm gonna say pass under the radar. It is what it is, right? So we got to know those little nuances, those little things, right? It's creative. It's the way that Christiane does her lending. Is like certain things, exactly. A lot of people, guys, and you guys are in the community more advanced, guys. How lending works. You guys know how real estate works. There's a lot of things that are like really gray areas, and which is fine. We're not doing anything illegal. We're just stay in the gray area. So for pad split, I know this. They're not going to say it, but I know. Yeah, a lot of it's in the gray area. It's
Okay.
that's co-living. That's why I call it affordable housing. But it is something that it's like for a while, a lot of cities, they were anti because of the hotels. They were anti Airbnbs. Where Airbnb now is mainstream. Now, when something happens like hurricanes, Airbnb open up. So now that once government realize that it's beneficial for them, they're going to come in and they're going to make a change. The same. Okay. When the government realized, and this, you guys understand, we're the movement. We're the movement. When government realizes that, hey, affordable housing, co-living is a need, just the way what California did, now California's opening up all use. It's going to happen. It's just going to take time. So a lot of it is when you are a slumlord, that's when they're going to get you. When you have like 10,000 cars and you're making it dirty, but that's why you got to be able to understand how to manage people and manage you do it well when it's clean.
And it's like you said, Pat, your property in Cobb, right? Is it Cobb? It's Cobb.
Yes.
Somebody told on you, so you got a citation, right? That's the way it starts.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's investor doing the same thing on the other side of the street, but they're not being caught. Do you see how what Pat is saying? And I know, Tracy, we had our meetup, and Quentin from Pet Split, he does a lot of operational, right, side of Pet Split. He said, if you don't have, for example, if you have any citation, any problems, if you get Pet Split to help, you need to have all the permits. You need to do everything according to the, we don't pull permits like everywhere, so you got to have to do it, and they can help. And I also know another groups that people do co-living without Pet Split. What they do, like in Jacksonville, like they use, or Texas, there's a lot of stuff happening in Texas too. They get a bunch of investors together. They pay for the attorney. It's not that expensive, and then the attorney help them. What I would suggest, like for me, if it ever happens, I never want to represent myself, to the city. I think you need to have an attorney, and if there's the same people going through the same pain, get everybody together. Let's pitch in and get an attorney.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, again, like I asked, we had a meetup here in Mecklenburg in Charlotte. And I asked, again, pain is recent, so it's still on my mind. And I was like, okay, and we had a permit, so that's what made it all messy. But anyway, and lawyers are a lot of money. But the reality, and it's a little town. It's like a town of 800 people. It's like, why are you persecuting me in my little town? This is crazy. But anyway, Mecklenburg, I asked, how's dealing with Mecklenburg? And they're like, we don't. And I was like, whoa, okay. But it's also so big and it's growing so fast that it probably are very rarely going to get caught. And that's kind of like something to recognize too. My town of 800 people, they could see it on Airbnb. Well, so they knew, right?
Mm.
And so I told on myself by doing that, right? But so anyway, okay. I mean, Pad Split actually is having a meetup next week. So I'm going to go because I'm like really intrigued. Like this is really a fast way to get moving. And I think so thank you for sharing that. And also not too scary, right? Like if it can cash flow and you can work the numbers and
Yeah.
I have a person that I could put to work, which and it can
Eh,
come
eh, eh,
here, right?
And Tracy, it's
Yeah.
like my first one, like our first one, like I was nervous. I'm like, I'm gonna put this stuff on pad split. When these rooms are gonna be filled, and I was so nervous, but like and then you see the first booking coming in, and then you start learning all the different stuff, talking to people, doing, going to communities on Facebook everywhere and learning from everybody, asking questions. And it's just like, okay, everybody's doing it, like I can do this
Yeah.
too.
And
Yes.
the demographics too for this people, I'm sorry, but the
Yeah.
demographics real quick for, passport people think that
Yes,
like, it's just like people who
that's a good
can't
point.
pay, and it's not like that. It's people in the mid 30s to 40s. They're nurses. They're nurses. They're like, could be just regular entrepreneurs that are trying to save on living expenses. So it's not where they're going to come in there and wreck your place. Nothing like that.
Amazing,
Yes,
guys.
that's one of our things too, which, we do massive screening, Pat had some stories that you're telling on Tuesday, right, Pat? You guys co-living.
Week one, we had 2 babies, a police call, domestic violence.
I was like, whoa,
Also,
shit show.
It's settled down now. They're
And then you put things in place. I mean, it's
yeah,
just like, it's just, yeah.
amazing. All right, guys. You guys have any questions, guys, before we leave, before we end this here? Because I just want to thank our partners. We have one of our partners is Melanie Mayer. She's the local closing attorney here. If you guys ever need any creative closing attorneys, we also have Echo Agency, which is our insurance guy that we use for all of our sub 2 properties. For
Some
actually all,
people met him at the meetup too. Bo,
yeah,
the first time that I met him in person, we've been working together for how long? 5 years, Pat,
yeah,
right?
yes,
Since 2017 or 2018.
yes.
I love it.
Insurance or any closing attorneys, please visit them. Those are our partners, so we want to thank them.
If you guys got any value, share this there, tag us, spread the word.
And if you guys need any help, guys, please don't be afraid. Like, we're here to help. If you guys need any questions or anything like that in terms of how, to get into how to scale and things. But I guess before we go, the last question I have, maybe you too, Chris, but guys, how do you guys feel? What do you guys think about this particular topic of co-living? Do you guys like it? How do you guys feel? Because we were thinking about
Love it.
the next few weeks about.
Oh, Simone, me too.
Yeah.
Like, I all want to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I do have a question. I know I'm getting into the new development space, but listening to this, I'm kind of having second thoughts now.
What do we call the syndrome? Pat, help me here. What is the name? What is the name?
Shiny
object syndrome. Yes,
Okay.
very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shiny object.
Yeah, but what do you?
Don't worry,
guys,
we all go through that. Don't worry.
Yeah, but what do you guys think about? What do you think about new development at this time? Because like I said at the beginning of the meeting, I'm actually taking a mastermind class to learn new development. But I do have options, but and I'm not real. I don't know a whole lot about real estate, and I'm learning about the market and things like that. And I know there is a shortage of housing, and that's why I wanted to get into the new development to build. So, but what do you guys think about new development versus the pad split? Which
To answer the question, just so my goal is to get into development, right? So I actually have a partner that we're ready to build, we're ready to kind of start building, but to find the right deal. But the thing is that in real estate, there's 2 major ones, but I'll say the 2. There's fast money and there's slow money, right? There's the wealth building, right? So when it comes to development, it just takes a year. It takes longer. So it holds a lot longer. So what do we do in the meantime? That's a struggle for someone who this is what we do full time, is that how do we get cash flow? So with co-living, it meets both worlds. It meets both cash flow right away and build wealth at the same time. That's what we love about it, right? So, the end goal is always multifamily. The end goal is always, developing. Developing is more immediate. We can get that faster. But if you put money into that, I mean, it takes a year. Now, Shelly can probably tell you as an agent, and I've learned this along the way, is that new builds sells a lot faster than rehab properties.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
because because I was thinking about, okay, so I dived into it, learning about development and all that. And, I did discover that, of course, you need another type of income to make, to mitigate the time frame as far as new development goes. So I was thinking about, and that's why I wanted to join the sub two, because I'm thinking about doing like subtails also. And then I have quite a bit of, as far as funding. I do have a home equity, and then I do have, my own savings and things like that, which I've had the home equity line of credit for like 2 years, and I haven't done anything with it.
Oh, wow.
You're wasting money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just wasting money. But but I'm ready to make a move in more than one way, as far as new development goes, as far as subtail or a hotel, just cleaning out the property so I can get fast. And that way, as far as my home equity, of course I have to pay that back. It's like a credit card. I have to pay it back. And I don't want it to just sit there like as far as a rental or something like that, slow.
See,
So you lose it. That's the way I see it.
This is how I see it. Like we do fix and flip for the active income, right? So I tell Pat, like, I want to get into new development for our fix and flip, but because it takes a little bit longer to see the money back, we're gonna do, a couple properties like normal fix and flip, and then add one new construction. That's something that I want to do, but I like to have some that are going to be faster, that we can dispose faster, and so it can support the new development, carry that 1 through 9 months, sometimes a year. That's the way I see it. If you need the active income, like we need the active income, so that's how we're gonna do it. But we're gonna get into new developments. I would say not now, but by the summer, like, because now my focus with all the shiny object there, my focus is co-living. That's what I'm doing, and and then later we're gonna add the new developments for our fix and flip that we already do. So, but
and then another question that I have is very important, as far as structuring like my LLC for that. Like, okay, so I now hear people talking, and I hear Pace talking about how he structured his business. Of course, he started with the trust, and then he's got the holding companies, and then he's got the subsidiary companies, or I guess parent companies or umbrella companies underneath all that. So I was thinking, since I'm getting into new development, and then I want to do this, the sub two community and things of that nature, and then wholesaling. But how would I structure all that? Do I need a holding company? Because like I said, I'm new, and I need to know this, like, probably, I guess, like
a lot of people.
How do I structure that?
Yes, a lot of people use Prime Corporation,
Yeah,
like
I heard about that.
Them. And it's so funny that you say that. I don't know. I just set up my first Wyoming property with the Prime, but I still need to do all of the beautiful destruction, put all of that. So I'm not the best person to tell you, but Pace started inside sub two. There's a semester just for structuring, and he's gonna tell how he structured his. I mean, it's amazing. I think the first one was on Tuesday. Right, guys? I don't know if you guys saw that, but he's doing a semester on that. And it's very good information. Yes. Pat, we should bring somebody to talk about LLC structure. Huh?
Yes, we should. Yes. I mean, honestly, Cass, I mean, I think I haven't got all that set up. My mind's a mess. I got to get up there.
Yeah, me too. Yes.
Because I know like when I hear people talk about, okay, well, you know what, I should have did this at the beginning, so they have to go back and pay a lawyer. And I even heard someone say something about they had to pay a lawyer $10,000 just to fix what they should have done at the onset, at the beginning. So
crazy. I don't think you have to. You just gotta what I know, like just create a new LLC. That's it. Create a new LLC. Move the property over to that LLC, whatever it is, and just start fresh. Like it's not that big of a deal. Like they make it a big deal. It's not that big of a deal. I think at the end, it's like me. Oh, I got messed up LLC. You know what I'm gonna do when I'm ready? I'm gonna go set up an LLC tomorrow, and I'll get all that structured when it happens. Does that make sense? Like if you don't cross that bridge when you get there. Don't worry about it. In my opinion. Yeah, I'll cross that bridge.
Because I was thinking also, like, say for instance, I do I'm headed to acquisitions and I come across something that is a good deal, but then I wanna already have that in place before I actually, because I think it takes a minute to get another LLC. But if I do my acquisitions and I come across something that's, of course, that's not new development, or is a wholesale, or it's a subtail, or it's something I can fix and flip real quick because it's cosmetic or something like that. I kind of wanted to have all that in place before I actually really dive into spending a whole bunch of money on the acquisition part, or what I come across as far as the need of the seller.
Yeah, if it's a deal, get it. Don't worry about the back end. Get it. You can fix the back end. To get an LLC, you can go online, you can get LLC in 2 or 3 weeks. So that's don't worry about that.
Okay.
If it's a deal, get it. You can always change it later. I've got deals I got to change out of my personal name right now. I got properties that I'm like, okay, I bought it, as a primary, now as a rental. It was really going to be a rental, but it's a primary, wink, wink. Just say, be creative. Don't worry. Get the deal. The deal.
Yeah.
Worry about it, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, guys. Thank you, Cass. Thank you so much.
I just want to say thank you to everybody for being on here. I hope, I was helpful. Reach out if anybody have any questions. We can help with the loan. We can help with the co-living design, the rehab, the property management of it.
Finding space is right, Pat.
Yeah, space is thing.
That's so important.
But guys,
it's the eye of the fix and flipper, right? It's just trying to get more square footage.
Yes, if it's anything you're going to take away, we say it time again, guys, you're in the eye and the start of the hurricane for, America and co-living. Like you're in the eye of it right now. Like it's still early. Imagine Airbnb, early stages. So get on the bus. Get on the bus.
Oh my gosh, yesterday I saw Jamil and his sister. They added a 7-bedroom, 7-bath into a 15 square feet house.
Whoa!
They did it. Yes. So it could be done. I mean, she did the garage, she did the patio.
Okay. I see.
Every space.
Wow. Pat, we gotta convert that garage, man, into the 7th room, later, right?
No, you're right.
That, right? Like that, yeah. All right.
All right, guys. Well, guys, happy weekend, everybody. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you guys soon, next week.
Okay.
All right. Happy Friday. Bye, Cass.
Okay,
Great
bye.
questions.
Thanks,
Happy
everyone.
Valentine's Day.
Oh, yes. Happy Valentine's. Bye,
Make
Shelly.
sure you get a card.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.